Okay, so here we have the third economics assignment on resources. It says use the following key to label each of the resources in questions 1 to 16 as either land, labor, capital, or entrepreneurship. If a resource is land, identify it as either being renewable or non-renewable. If a resource is a capital good, identify it as either physical or human. It says hint, physical capital is a tangible human-made resource, such as a tool or machinery used to produce other goods and services. Okay, so what we want to do here is we want to look at coal, right? So coal is obviously land, but is it renewable or non-renewable? And I don't mean in the billions or millions of years sense. So it's obviously land, so you'd put LD, and then it's non-renewable, so it's LD-N. The telephone, that's an example of capital. Okay. Now the thing of it is it physical capital? Oh, if it's a capital good, I'm sorry. So this is capital, natural gas again. So it's land, but natural gas is a non-renewable resource. Computer, that would be capital. Truck driver. Now in this case, don't make the assumption. Don't read things into this. Like this is the guy who owns the truck, right? That would make him the entrepreneur. This is just a person driving a truck. So this is a person who would represent labor. An accountant, still, this is not necessarily the guy who owns the accounting company, but this is the accountant, right? So he's also an example, or she is also an example of labor. Forklift would be capital. An oak tree, this would be an example of land, but in this case, it's a renewable resource. Corn, also land and renewable. A computer programmer, labor. Okay. Bill Gates, this is a person. So he is an entrepreneur. Then we have cotton. Okay. Of course, this is land, it's renewable. Gold, land, whoops, non-renewable. Hammer, this is C, it's capital good. Henry Ford, entrepreneur, and a lawyer is labor. All right, now it says look at your desk. At school or at home. This is assuming that you're at a desk. Let's say you're laying in your bed, whatever. Wherever it is you're doing this assignment, I want you to look at, to be able to categorize where you're at to answer questions 17 through 20. All right, so it says land. So what were the land-based, either renewable or non-renewable goods that were used to make wherever it is that you're doing this assignment? So I'm sitting at a desk. This desk is made out of wood and metal. So I would put down, wood and metal. The labor that was involved, well, it's metal, right? And the metal has welds. So this would be a welder. And somebody had to create this thing. So that would be an engineer. Somebody had to design this. You could put designer, engineer, whatever you want to do. And then somebody had to actually make this stuff. So this is labor. Now, when we get down here to capital, we're looking at what were the tools that were used? Well, if you're a welder welding metal, you need a welding machine, right? You could need a press, you could need a saw. You don't need to list every single thing they could ever think, because these could be quite exhaustive if you did it that way. But just think what are a couple of things that were involved in this? Now, if you're laying in your bed, it could be cotton, it could be whatever, wood, it's all kinds of things. But these things don't escape whatever it is that it doesn't matter if you're eating something, if you're reading something, if you're driving something, they all used resources. Now, entrepreneurship. So this is going to vary how your answer is, but this is going to include the person or the people that started the company that actually made the desk or the bed. And so you may not actually know. So you could go with the answer I just gave you, but let's say that you bought your desk like I did at IKEA, then I could write down the entrepreneurship is the company IKEA. Okay. If you don't know, again, it's the entrepreneurs or the people who started the company that made the desk or the bed or the kitchen table or whatever it is that you're at. All right. Next question says, as a student at school, which, if any, of the 4 economic resources are you? And then it wants you to defend your answer. Okay. So it wants to know, are you land? Clearly you're not land. Are you labor? No, that would be me. Are you capital? No, that would be the devices that you're using. And then you're not an entrepreneur because you didn't start the school. The state of Michigan starts the schools. So that means, what are you? Okay. Actually, you guys are something different. You're not an economic resource. You as a student are not an economic resource. So the reason why is there is a classification that is outside of the four factors of production, and you are one of those. Okay. Now, the minute that you're no longer a student and you become like an entrepreneur or a laborer, something like that, that's different. Now you'll have a classification. Now, some of you do have jobs. Okay. So let's say you're working at McDonald's. You're a laborer at McDonald's, but like I'm asking you students specifically here. Okay. It's a trick question, but notice though, it says in parentheses here, if any, and the if any is the important thing. I do not need you to do 22 and 23. Okay. So you can turn this in when you're done. Thank you very much.